Rush Limbaugh is going to rant about women and their victim complex. Let's listen.
If somebody willingly makes themselves a victim, then that's tough to counter. Is once you already decide you are a victim, then you add to that, here comes a political party which will happily have you think that of yourself. And then they will go further and tell you who it is that's victimizing you. In this case, it is the Republicans. And what are they doing? Why, they're running a war on women. And what do the Republicans want? They don't want you women to be happy. They don't want you to have sex. They don't want you to have birth control pills. They don't want you to be able to get abortions. They don't want you to be free. They don't want you to understand. And if you're already thinking of yourself as a victim of an unfair, unjust society, and you're resentful for whatever human nature did not give to you, whatever's going on, you have a political party coming along and affirming all that for you and then promising to make up the difference. We'll look out for you. And if they don't have a second income, if they're unmarried, if they don't have a second income in the house, and the government comes along and offers it, it's almost, when we get to economics in this economy, I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, the fact of the matter remains you don't think very positively of your economic future. Not the way it's being run. Nobody's inspiring confidence in anybody about our economy. Somebody comes along and is willing to offer to make up for you what you don't have because you're single. Then you can't afford not to do it.
He mocks the idea that women are victims as he victimizes women. I don't understand how that goes right over his head. Right over his head. And look, what the Democratic Party tries to do, this is one issue where they've done a fairly good job, is they just try to make it so that the system is equal for women and fair for women. He makes it seem like we're trying to give them an unfair advantage, like we're trying to put them above men. But no, that's not what we're doing. But see, that's his mindset. He would like to be above the women. So if we try to change it a little bit to just make it equal, he screams bloody murder, because then in his mind it's like the women are above men. So why are women voting Democratic, and why have the Republicans gotten their ass kicked with this demographic for the longest time? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's because the Republicans filibustered the Violence Against Women Act. So for those of you who don't know, it has what's called a sunset provision or a sunset clause on it, and it always comes up for another vote every few years. And the Republicans blocked it multiple times. Why? Because the protections in the bill were going to be extended to the LGBT community and the Native American community. And the Republicans couldn't have that. Now, the Violence Against Women Act, it has so many provisions, and they're fantastic. And one of them is, a domestic violence hotline, where if something happens, there's a number to call and, to deal with emergencies and to deal with emotional support and stuff like that. And the Republicans were just like, no, apparently gay people, they don't have emotions. Native Americans, there's no such thing as emotions in that community. No, they're not human. So we're going to filibuster it. Multiple times they did that. Yeah, maybe that's why women don't want to vote for you, because you're against common sense ideas. Or maybe the fact that most Republicans, the overwhelming majority, only a handful crossed the aisle on this one, voted against the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act. Now, what is that? That makes it so that the statute of limitations on pay discrimination cases, it starts from when the woman realizes she's being discriminated against. See, with Lilly Ledbetter, she was being discriminated against for years. She didn't realize it until the statute of limitations was already over with. And then when she finally learned about it, the court said, no, you can't sue because this has been happening for years. And she's like, I just learned about it Tuesday. And they're like, sorry, statute of limitations was done because you were getting unequal pay for 8 years or whatever it was. Yeah, to block that, you're clearly anti-woman. They act like Democrats sat around and they were like, okay, guys, let's make up something about Republicans, and there's a war on women. Should we go with women? I was going to go with turtles. Should we go with women instead? No, it's based on your policies. It's based on what you do and how your votes are anti-woman. So another example, multiple times, in fact, they just did this. They filibustered the Paycheck Fairness Act. Now, what does that do? Well, that mandates pay transparency. So if a woman gets hired for a job and there's a man who does the same job with the same job description and there's a discrepancy, well, she's allowed to notice the discrepancy. And then also what it does is it mandates that the business owner needs to explain why there is a discrepancy if there is a discrepancy. Again, these are common sense pieces of legislation, but no, Rush Limbaugh acts like us. We're not anti-woman at all. We just don't want women to realize that we're screwing them over with their pay. And put all that aside. So forget that stuff. How about this? Transvaginal ultrasounds. Many Republicans support transvaginal ultrasounds. You know what that is? State-sanctioned penetration. Some might call it state-sanctioned rape. You don't actually need to get an ultrasound in your vagina. You don't have to do it that way, but they made it the law in a few states because they thought, well, this will disincentivize women from wanting to get an abortion anyway, and we don't like abortion, so fine. If we need to do state-sanctioned penetration to try to prevent you from getting an abortion, so be it. And I could go on and on and on, man. Rush, do you notice the difference between me and you? See, what does Rush do? It's all bloviating. It's all, this is my opinion on what I think the Democrats think or what women think or something like that. It's always, let me speculate as to other people's motivations, let me give my opinion, let me just airy rhetoric all day long. Notice what I'm doing. I'm giving you specific policies and areas where the Republicans were against the position that women wanted and the Democrats were for it. I mean, how many examples have we given on the show of red states restricting birth control, getting rid of sex education, getting rid of health clinics, and then what happens? The STD rate goes up, the teen pregnancy rate goes up, the abortion rate goes up. These are all anti-women ideas, and by the way, these are end results that the Republicans even say they hate. If you really hate abortion, and you really hate STD transmission and teen pregnancy, well then you should adopt our solutions, because our solutions are actually solutions that work. And, of course, our solution is birth control, condoms, Planned Parenthood clinics, health clinics, sex education, and stuff like that. But I know, by me listing off all these facts and all these policies where clear examples where the Republicans are anti-woman, okay, and the Democrats are pro-woman, no, that doesn't mean that that's what's happening. It means that women are victims and the Democrats are anti-woman and something.